You have heard of Iron Curtain, but now Europe is building a new one. Only this time, it's made of millions of landmines. Yes, landmines. Those banned barbaric weapons the world once tried to eliminate. But today, from the forests of Finland to fields of Poland, NATO allies are preparing to turn back the clock, driven by just one word: Russia. The term Iron Curtain was coined in 1946 by Winston Churchill. It described the growing divide between Western democracies and Eastern communist regime under Soviet control after World War II. For nearly 5 decades, this invisible wall cut Europe into two separating democracies, from dictatorship, capitalism from communism, and spawning one of the history's most dangerous standoff, the Cold War. From Berlin to Budapest, the Iron Curtain meant border fences, armed guards, surveillance towers, and constant threat of nuclear war. That Iron Curtain finally fell with the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991. Europe breathed a sigh of relief. But now, history is rhyming. Only this time, the curtain isn't made of barbed wire and checkpoints. It's made of explosive buried under the soil. 5 NATO nations, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland, are preparing to withdraw from the 1997 Ottawa Convention, which bans anti-personnel landmines. Why? Because they share over 3,300 kilometers of border with Russia and Belarus. But they now believe to stop Putin's force, mines may be the only option left. Landmines were once considered the most indiscriminate of weapons, killing civilians, crippling children, contaminating landscape for decades. So what has changed? Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 shattered many illusions in Europe. NATO's eastern flank knows it could be next. And when fear sets in, international treaties start looking like luxuries. These 5 countries now say deterrence means preparation. If Russian tanks roll in, they want the forests, lakes, and farmland to be deadly obstacles, not open highways. The shift is not just military, it's moral. Rewind to 1997. Princess Diana walked through the landmines in Angola, campaigning to ban them. Britain's Prime Minister Tony Blair made it law. But now, no Western leader is standing in the way of this reversal. The Ottawa Convention was once the gold standard of global humanitarian disarmament, signed by 164 countries. But today, Britain, once a champion of the same convention, is silent. Why? Because Russia's war has rewritten the rules, and for the countries closest to Kremlin, safety now trumps idealism.
The reported use of anti-personnel landmines and cluster munitions is of special concern because of their notorious indiscriminate and long-term effects. These weapons must be relegated to the past. Furthermore, in light of recent announcements to withdraw from Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention, the Secretary General recalled this week that when civilians face heightened risks from widening conflicts, it is imperative that we strengthen the frameworks that protect human life and dignity.
Let's zoom in on Lithuania, perhaps the most vulnerable of them all. It borders both Belarus and Russian enclave of Kaliningrad, and sandwiched between them is NATO's soft underbelly, the Suwalki Gap. This narrow 65-kilometer corridor is the only land route to Baltic NATO state. If it's cut, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania could be isolated in hours. In May, Lithuania's parliament voted 107-0 to ditch the landmine ban. Not a single vote against. The country plans to spend around 800 million euros or 5.5% of its GDP on landmines. That's more than twice what Britain spends on defense as percentage of GDP. So here's the bottom line. Europe's forests are being militarized. The world's most hated weapon is making a comeback. And what was once considered inhumane is now being called essential. This is the quiet death of global campaign. Landmines, once seen as barbaric, are now back in business. The fear of war has changed Europe. And the Iron Curtain is descending once again. Only this time, it explodes. It's a chilling irony. In trying to stop war, Europe is preparing for it more aggressively than ever before. Thank you for watching India Today Global.